Before we begin, let me just clarify that Superman is not my favorite DC character, but I do love what he represents, and I think he's the best choice to kick off this new universe. I love how they didn't start the movie showing Superman's backstory. Instead, they gave us a quick rundown on what we needed to know, then threw us straight into the story. Explaining the backstory of one of the world's most famous superheroes is so unnecessary. And if there is someone out there who doesn't know Superman's backstory, well, the internet is free. Having the movie take place when Clark is already Superman is such a breath of fresh air. Not all movies need to be origin stories. And this just ties into my previous point. Superman has a lot of different depictions of his origin story. He doesn't need any more. This movie's visuals are so clean and vibrant. And the Fortress of Solitude is so beautiful. You can tell that they took their time developing this movie. So Superman just lost a fight and he calls Crypto to bring him home. When I saw this in the trailer, I thought that Superman was training, but him losing to a villain isn't a bad start. Him being able to be beaten makes his character a lot more interesting rather than if he one-shots everybody. I still can't believe we get to see Crypto so early in the new universe. He's so rough and playful, and I like that. I've seen other people complain about it, but I prefer him this way. He feels more like an actual dog, because in other iterations, he can talk and he comes off more of a human trapped in a dog's body. So after Crypto brings Superman to the Fortress of Solitude, the Superman robots took him and helped him recover by exposing him to sunlight, while the engineer is also in the area, most likely looking for the Fortress of Solitude. And after recovering, he flies out to rejoin the fight and gets his ass beat. Because Lex has been studying Superman to the point that he can predict his moves when fighting, so he loses again. So after Ultraman beats Superman, he flies off and goes to a camp, then goes through two portals that brings him back to LexCorp. Now I find it very clever that Lex uses this as a way to paint Superman in a negative light, having Ultraman announcing that Superman meddled in another country's affairs and now he'll pour his wrath on the entire country. I think David Cornsweet does a decent enough job acting like how Clark is supposed to act, but it's a bit lacking in my opinion. I'm gonna be honest here. I like Lex's plan, Planet Watch. I like the concept of it. If James Gunn is planning on keeping them around, I think that he should do a storyline similar to Daredevil where Fisk becomes mayor and outlaws vigilantes. Something could happen further down in the universe and vigilantes become outlawed and Lex Luthor's team is put in charge of capturing them and also would replace them as the world's protectors. So after pitching his team to the Defense Department, they reject his idea for a number of reasons, one being it's too risky. Then we switch to Lois at her apartment and Clark is already there. I like how naive Clark is when Lois is interviewing him. You can tell that he's not properly educated on foreign affairs and he sees things in black and white, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but humans are complex and so is human society. There's a whole lot of nuance in matters like these, and him watering down the situation and Lois grilling him is so funny. Then Clark's feelings get hurt and he leaves. I like how the film is showing you how early he is in his career as Superman and as a journalist, and also shows that he has a lot more to learn about human affairs. So Lex and friends are at the Fortress of Solitude, and we get a little fight scene with the engineer and Ultraman fighting the robots, and Lex is just walking around so nonchalantly as things are flying around him. Then Crypto shows up but gets dealt with by the engineer. Lex came here to find something that he can use against Superman, and the engineer is hacking the system. Meanwhile, Lex's henchmen let a gremlin-looking creature loose in the city, and the engineer was able to download the video message Clark's parents recorded for him. I didn't expect the monster we saw in the trailer to come this early in the movie. I'm like 30 minutes in. I thought that this was something for the final part of the movie. So now Superman is fighting the monster, and the visuals are holding up. The monster looks like it could actually be there. and Superman is flying around punching and evading while saving people. Then Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, and Mr. Terrific appeared, and the crowd started cheering. I like that they are an official team, and the fight was cool as hell. Guy Gardner is so goofy, he reminds me of Beast Boy, and I love watching Hawk Girl fight. So after the fight, it's being broadcasted that Superman was sent to Earth to destroy them. Lex had the message that Superman's parent left him translated by humans, and Lex says that they weren't mistaken, which I don't believe. Superman's parents allegedly told him to go to Earth and conquer it, and at this point, Lex has the city eating out of his hands and showing hostility towards Superman. So he goes into a building and the Justice Gang follows him in and confronts him about the message, and Mr. Terrific says that the message is true because he knows the people who translated it, and after Hawk Girl asks where did they get the footage from, Superman super speeds out of the building and flies straight towards the Fortress of Solitude. While everyone is shitting on Superman's name, the Defense Department seems to be moving forward with Lex's team to capture Superman for questioning. Seeing the scene with Superman crashing out in front of Lex in context is so funny, because I was like, what did he do to make you so mad? And Lex is such a convincing villain, like you actually see him doing stuff and making plans, and it just adds to his presence as a villain, because if he just shows up when he needs to oppose Superman, it wouldn't have hit as hard as it does. And we got a cameo from Peacemaker, that was cool. I love how the Justice Gang is fighting an alien creature while Superman and Lois are talking. I honestly like seeing them together. Both actors make their interactions engaging, and they look so cute together. I low-key kinda miss the whole superhero shows up to the love interest's house while wearing their super suit. I like that, we need more of that. So Superman got arrested and is now in Lex's pocket dimension, trapped in a box with Metamorpho, who turns one of his arms into kryptonite. The way Lex was written is so good. He's such a good villain, and he doesn't feel like he's just here for this movie. It feels like he's here for the entire franchise. So after Lois figures out that Superman is trapped in a pocket dimension, she decides to go to the Justice Gang for help, and after a funny interaction with them, Mr. Terrific decides to help. Meanwhile, Lex is threatening to kill a man Superman interacted with like 2 times while asking him questions, and Lex kills him and leaves him to find someone else Superman has talked to, which is Clark. Mr. Terrific takes down a group of Lex's employees in such an effortless manner. The orbs are just flying around and he's moving in sync with them as he fights. We need more Mr. Terrific, and I like how all the main characters have good comedic timing and are able to make situations and conversations funny. So after Lex killed the guy, Metamorpho had a change of heart and decides to help Superman. But even though his hand transformed back, Superman is still weak. So after he tells Metamorpho that sunlight gives him power, he created something like a sun, and Superman recovers and breaks out. And Mr. Terrific is searching for them with his orbs. Superman frees Krypto along with Metamorpho and his son, I think. They try to leave, but Superman is stopped by the guards, so after a lot of fighting and almost being sucked into a black hole, one of Mr. Terrific's orbs finds them and guides them back to the portal, and they all made it out before it implodes. Now Lois is taking Superman and Krypto to his home where he grew up so that they can recover completely, while Mr. Terrific stays back to ensure that the portal is really closed. And Lex is crashing out because Superman escaped and he wants him found. So to lure him out, Lex decides to basically rip a hole in reality. Yo, it is not that serious. I promise you, it is never that serious. You're telling me you hate this man so much that you're willing to put the entire planet at risk just to kill him? That is crazy. The scene with Clark and his father talking about the message and who he is such a breathtaking scene, and despite what was said, it's good to know that he has his mother and his father in his corner at all times. So after the talk with his father, his mom shows him what's going on in Barovia on the news, and when I saw the children putting up a flag with the S on it, that made me jump out of the chair screaming, "Hell yeah!" But then Mr. Terrific calls him and tells him about the rift and that it is spreading, so now the citizens are evacuating, and Lois and some of the people at the Daily Planet are talking about Lex and his plan to create a technological utopia. Now Superman is fighting the Engineer and Ultraman, and they're going blow for blow while Mr. Terrific is laying unconscious. And the Engineer tries to kill Superman by filling his insides with her nanites, but fails, and Superman and Ultraman go toe to toe while Lex is talking to him through the speaker on Ultraman. Then Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Metamorpho pull up in Barovia, ready to fight the soldiers. Man, that's top 10 best entrance scenes. After defeating Ultraman, hundreds of raptors flew in and Superman and Krypto started fighting them all at once. And after defeating them, Krypto, and Mr. Terrific goes to Lex, and Mr. Terrific stops the rift before it reached another city. So Lex gets arrested, everyone starts seeing Superman as a hero again, and Supergirl makes a cameo, and damn, that was such a good movie. 2 hours of pure bliss. I had faith in James Gunn, and that faith has paid off. Mr. Terrific and Lex, those two were phenomenal. I like the main cast and the supporting cast, but those two gave such great performances. The action scenes were well choreographed. The way the camera flips and spins when Superman is flying makes me feel like I'm flying too. I think Lois and Clark have great chemistry together, as well as the actors, and I want to see more of Jimmy. The movie is funny. It's able to juggle comedy with the emotional and dramatic scenes well, and they don't get interrupted with a funny quip or remark. And honestly, this is such a strong start for the DCU. If you haven't watched it already, I highly recommend it. It kept me hooked from the moment it started and never lost me at any point. Even though it's 2 hours long, it kept me engaged and invested. I think Krypto being hyperactive and rough as a result of how Supergirl raised him makes perfect sense, and I love how they're trying to make her feel different in regards to Superman, which just makes me excited for her movie. While I do like the humor and think it fits well with the movie, I don't think it should flow into every other movie, specifically Batman. As for the theme/message of the movie, I really like it. You should judge someone based off who they are as a person and not what they are, and you should always try to do the right thing no matter the circumstance. Superman is an immigrant, and he has proven time and time again that even though he's an alien and from a different planet, he is still just as human as the rest of us, and he deserves to be treated as such. James Gunn's decision to not portray Superman as an all-powerful being was a perfect decision. Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific were great additions to the cast. They felt like actual co-workers, and I liked their dynamic. I like the fact that they didn't take over the movie, but were given a decent enough screen time to showcase their powers and personalities. And I hope we get to see more of these characters. Metamorpho looked great and the actor gave a memorable performance. I'm not sure whether he's sticking around though. If he did, that would be great, but if not, that's fine. Anyway, that was my review of the new Superman movie. Did you like the movie? Did you dislike it? Comment down below and make sure to like, subscribe. I got more videos on the way.